Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie Brown here at Grand Canyon University. This course is ECS 510, Instructional Planning for Early Childhood and Early Childhood Special Education. Today, the lesson is on lesson plan writing. But before we get into the lesson plan writing, we need to understand scaffolded instructions. So what scaffolding is an instructional practice where a teacher gradually removes guidance and support as students learn to become more competent. Scaffold instruction supports students through breaking down complex tasks into manageable steps. It promotes independent learning and accommodates learners at various levels. The definition of scaffold is basically just breaking down the task into smaller parts and providing guidance throughout the learning process. It aims to foster independence, acknowledge different abilities, and it provides personalized support. The approach promotes student engagement and confidence in academic success. The benefits of scaffold instructions is that it tailors to the individual need of a diverse student, it fosters inclusion, and it promotes active engagement. It helps identify strengths and areas of growth. Students can develop understanding, skills, confidence, and motivation, as well as academic achievement. The learning cycle of scaffold instruction consists of pre-assessments, instructions, assessments, review of data, reteaching, and reflecting. Reflecting allows evaluation and adjustments for the instruction as the teacher reflects on how well the lesson went and what information did the students obtain. Today I will discuss the significance of each element of the lesson plan and provide explanations on what to include and why it is essential. My goal today is to help you develop a comprehensive lesson plan that is effective and caters to your students' need and enable them to acquire valuable skills through your facilitation. Let's take a brief look at the example lesson plan that I found. Here I will point out the components that some of the components that we're going to go over. You have the grade level, the date, the unit study, instructional plan, and then it goes down to the state learning standards, the learning objective, academic language. These things are important, but most important is the state learning standard and the objectives. We're going to figure out how those things tie in together and how they work with assessments. Let's go on to see. To start, it is critical that we familiarize ourselves with the nature of each component and fully comprehend its significance before embarking on the task of drafting the lesson plan. So before we even begin writing the lesson plan, we have to know exactly what each of these components mean. And from there, we will see. Key terms to know. Lesson plan summary, what you will be focusing on, what you're going to do with the student, the assessment, how you're going to find out if the students obtain any information or what their prior knowledge is before the lesson begin, how you going to make that connection with what you're trying to teach. Formative assessments, summative assessments, which one are you going to use, or are you going to use both? These two assessments is going to help you figure out what help the student need, or if the student need a additional lesson to build on prior skills. Anticipated set, how we're going to grasp the student's attention. Instructional plan title. All these things are titles or terms that you are going to become familiar with. But before we become familiar with those terms, let's take a look at key the key important components on the alignment between state standards, which is one of those terms, objective, a term, learning activity, another term, and assessment. All of these words are terms that are going to be in your lesson plan. Components of the lesson plan. Classroom and student factors / grouping. So Classroom and student factors / grouping. What that means is it is factors such as prior knowledge, learning style, language proficiency, and social dynamics, which are all important when planning a lesson plan. This section of the lesson plan focuses on understanding students' unique characteristics and needs. It also addresses how students will be grouped during instructions. By considering their factors, teachers can tailor their instructions to meet the diverse needs of their students. All right, what that means is if you have 20 students in a classroom and 10 of them know how to multiply very, very good, but 10 of the other 10 of them are struggling, you can group those students together, the ones that have it and the ones that don't have it quite yet, together to see if they can lean on each other for learning. And then you can scaffold the groups, and then you can assess the groups, and then you can see if the children are learning from each other. This is a great way to utilize classroom and student factor grouping. Standards. In this lesson plan, the standards section highlights the academic standards that the lesson is designed to address. Very important, the standards serve a learning goal for students and provide a clear focus on instructions. Teachers lean on these standards because by aligning the lesson objectives and activities with the relevant standards, teachers ensure that students are working towards mastery of a grade level content. This section helps teachers stay informed about the specific knowledge and skills that students should acquire, enabling them to plan instructions that is both rigorous and meaningful. Objective. Objective is one of those terms that we need as well. Objectives are a desired outcome of a lesson and guided instruction as well as assessment. In this lesson plan, the objective section allows the teacher to articulate clear and specific learning goals for their students. The objective reflects what students should know, understand, and be able to do by the end of the lesson. Well-defined objectives help focus instruction, enable teachers to assess students' understanding accurately, and provide students with a sense of purpose and direction throughout the lesson. By setting objectives, teachers can effectively scaffold instructions and ensure that students are making progress towards mastery. Here is a term that we did not really go over, but it is a very important term. It is called anticipated set. So anticipated set are also known as the hook or engagement activity. It is a critical component of the lesson plan because it addresses how the teacher will capture students' attention and activate their prior knowledge at the beginning of the lesson. It aims to generate interest and curiosity, creating positive and engaging lessons in the environment. By incorporating an effective anticipated set, teachers can stimulate students' thinking, establish relevance, and set the stage for the lesson's content and objectives. Means of representation. So what this means is the teacher can use this as an outline instructional strategy and a resource for presenting information to the students. The information that can be presented to the students can be in the form of visual aids, demonstration videos, text-based materials. All of these cater to the different learning styles and needs, providing multiple means of representation, enhance understanding, and ensures equal access to content for all students, because not every student in the classroom are visual students, and not every student in the classroom are hands-on. Your students may be all of these different type of learning styles. So it's very good to have more than one learning style in rotation in a lesson. The means of engagement. Means of engagement in the section of the lesson plan promotes students' participation through strategies by cooperative learning. What this means is, how are you going to have the student getting engaged? Are they going to have hands-on activities, discussions, problem solving, or all of the above? You have to spell that out in your lesson plan so that we can know exactly how to facilitate it. Means of expression. What this is, this part of the lesson plan focuses on how the students will demonstrate their understanding of learning and content. It includes a oral presentation, written assignment, project, performance, and assessments. I will give an example. In the fifth grade, I remember not knowing my multiplication as well, but I remember my teacher coming up with a creative way for us to learn it. Rap was really big in this time, so we was able to rap out our multiplication tables, and that was a way for us to remember them. So this encourages diverse and authentic ways for students to highlight their learning, allowing teachers to assess comprehension effectively, and students to demonstrate their strengths and talents. Differentiation. This is another term that is very important. Differentiation, emphasize the importance of meeting the diverse needs of students. Teachers consider students' various disabilities, interests, and learning styles to provide instructions tailored to the individual student or specific group. This section explores strategies for modifying content. Differentiation this is very important to know that you can modify content in a lesson plan if it's not working for all the students, because the idea of a lesson is for all the students to obtain or gain insight on what was being taught. So if you have to modify it, you're differentiating the lesson plan, and you're making it so that it is equally access to learning for everybody. Everyone has an opportunity to learn, making this meaningful and inclusive instruction. Extensive homework activity. Extensive homework activity is when the students take what they've learned and deepen understanding, practice independently, and connect the lesson to the real world content. You take what you've learned at home, in school, and you take it home. For example, if you're learning about measuring and you're using utensils to bake a cake in the classroom, you could take the same recipe, give it to the students as homework, take it home, and they can use it at home with their families. This way, they could teach their families how to measure using the measuring spoons and measuring cups at home, and this facilitates how they took the information that they learned in school, and you can assess them through feedback from their family. Importance of alignment in the lesson planning. The alignment between state standards and objective is very important because the standards lay out the foundation for student learning, while objectives are specific outcomes the teachers aim for. Aligning objectives with standards ensure instructional goals are linked to a broader expectation, maintaining consistency and relevance. Alignment between learning activities and assessments is very important because it demonstrates their understanding of the content. Well-aligned activities and assessments support and reinforce concepts of skills being assessed, ensuring accurate reflection of students' grasp of the ability to meet the objective. Also, using assessment data in lesson planning. Using assessment data in the lesson planning is essential for effective instruction. It provides insight on student understanding and identifies strengths and weaknesses. How assessment data informs a lesson plan? Assessment data informs the lesson plan by identifying areas needing instruction, adjusting piece and depth, and differentiation instruction. Also provides evidence of progress. Understanding state standards, defining learning objectives, and designing effective learning activities, assessing student progress, achieving alignment, connection, and standards, activities, and assessments are all important. State standards are critical for effective education. Learning objectives align state standards, objectives, activities, and assessments. Align state standards, objective, and assessments when designing effective lesson planning. All of these are important. Assessing student progress is critical in education. It helps teachers gather evidence for learning. Alignment between state standard, objective, learning objective, and assessments is critical. It establishes clear expectations, promote deeper understandings, and accurate measures for students' progress. Today's lesson is over. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something new. You have a wonderful day. God bless.